Welcome to the fastest daf in town. Today, Masechta Sanhedrin daf Lamed Tes. We are going to begin on Lamed Tes Amud the third line from the top. So we were going through the Rashi, which talked about three different parables to a wolf, and we are in a fox. So we're going to continue now with more Garata, which basically is the entire daf. Normally, Kaifer Rabbi Gamliel. So Kaifer said to Rabbi Gamliel that Elokeichem ganavu, that your God's a thief. That God put Adam to a deep sleep. Al Adam v'yishan, and he passed out, he fell asleep, and basically Hashem stole this rib. So Emily Bartia, so his daughter said, and some people say this was actually the Caesar. There's different girsa changes over here, exactly who this was. So she said, Shavki, leave us, my father. The Anna Mahadrin, I'll answer. So Amrule, so she said, Tanili doiches echad, provide for me a doiches, some type of a judge. Why? So listim boelenu halayla. A terrible thing happened. Thieves came. They took a silver cup, and they left a golden one. So Amrullah, so his father said, her father said, let the guy steal every day, right? The guy stealing something of less value and giving us something of more value in return. So obviously it's a good thing. Yeah, so he lost a rib, but he was given this wife to be with him. So a wife is a gain, not a loss. Amrullah hachikamina. I understand, but I was actually asking a different question. Ella l'shakle behedya. Why didn't they just do it while he was awake? Why was it necessary to have him sleeping? So Aisli umtsa de bisra. Give me this raw piece of meat. Aisila, to give it to her. So Aisla tute bachshane. She put it underneath some coals. So Fikta, she took it out. Amrulay, so she said to her father, Achul mahai, eat from this raw meat. Amrullah mi'isali. No, this is repulsive. I saw how you cook it. So Amrulay, she said, Adam arisha nami mihavi shakila b'hadeh. If he was awake, havim isale, would have been kind of repulsive to have seen a piece of his own body being changed into a human body. So sometimes it's better to not know. It's better to not see everything. I know your God. I know what he's doing. So it's nagid v'isnach. So Rabbi Gamliel sighed and kind of like fainted. Amalei, my high. What are you like so upset about? Amalei ben echad yeshli b'kar chayam. I have a son that I love, and he's across the country, across the seas. Yeshli gaguim alav. I'm gaga about him. I love him. I can't stop thinking about him. Be'ena demachvasle nihile. I want to be able to basically have a sense of where he is, what's going on with him. Summer miyadana hechaniu. Do you know anything about him? Similarly, de'ika b'ara lo yadat, de'ika shema yadat. So he said, obviously I don't know what's going on with your son. So my son is somewhere on this planet, and you don't even know where he is or anything what he's doing. Obviously you don't know what Hashem's doing. The pasuk says, "Ma'anim mispa kachavim." They counts the numbers of the stars. Maruvu say, what's the big deal? I'm also able to tell you the minyan of the kaichvi. I can also say the number of stars. So I say chvushe. They brought a quince, some type of a food. Shadinhu be'arbila. It was thrown into a sieve. V'kamahadalahu, and it was like basically moving around. Armalei meninhu. I want you to count up everything inside the sifter. Armalei ukminu. So basically said, okay, I can't count it while it's moving. Stop it. The This is what's going on with Earth. Everything is rotating. There's revolutions. The universe is in constant motion. So if you don't know what's going on in front of you, a quince, you obviously don't understand everything in the sky. Some say, he says, I already counted all the stars. I know all about them. I counted all the stars. Tell how many molars, how many excisors, how many teeth you have basically in your mouth. So he's saying, I never thought about that. So he put his hand into his mouth. And they start counting them. What's in your mouth you don't even know? Do you think you really know what's going on in the sky? One who created the mountains didn't create the wind. So it mentions the Yaitzer for the Harim, and it mentions Vaide by the Ruach. You're telling me there was two creators? What does that mean? So Tefach al Tefach yesh bo ba'adam. There's a small space by a person. And there's two cavities, the ears and the eyes. So you tell me one who created the eyes didn't create the ears. Yeah, you're right. Maybe the creator of the eyes is not the creator of the ears. So Malay, Uvashas Misa. You tell me therefore, at the time, if there's two gods controlling the human body and whether a person is going to live or die, so when a person dies, Kunis Faisu, are all the gods agreeing when the person should die? Or Malay, fine. Which obviously doesn't make any sense. Or Malay Hahu Amgusha. So you had this, Rashi says, Machashef, a sorcerer or someone who's involved in witchcraft. He said, La Meimar, Mipalgacha La'aliyah, from halfway and up, De Hormiz. It's the name of a shade, as is brought down by Baba Basra, who was in charge of the night. And Mipalgacha Latatoi, and from halfway down, De Hormiz, which is Rashi is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. One of Hashem's name is Da Hormiz. So Amalei Im Kain, if you want to tell me that the shade is in charge of half and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the other, Hechi Shavak Le Hormiz. How can Hashem leave Hormiz for the sake of this shade? La Avuri Mayib Are, to drink, to get water, because the drink goes top to bottom. So we should all be one. Let's all be one nation. So Omer Chaye, that's a great idea. We should all be the same. We had a bris milah, so we can't undo our circumcision. So you who are not circumcised, you want to be like us, you circumcise yourself. It's good, you got me on that. Miu called the Zochil Malka, anyone who wins in a battle against a king, the lovely reward is L'Shavu Lebebar. You're thrown into this Bibar, which is found in Masechtas Beya, which is like some type of entrapment or enclosure, which had wild animals in it. So Shadla Bebar, so he was thrown into, Tarnachan was thrown by the Caesar into the wild animals, but a miracle happened, they didn't eat him. So Amaliyahu Saduki, the only reason why I didn't eat him is because they're not hungry, so he got lucky. So Shadle Lididei, so they can, let's throw this kaifer in there, the Saduki, and let's see what happens, and he was consumed. Amrule kaifer Abigamil Amrisu Koil Beasara Shchinta Sharia. You say that anytime you have a minion of 10, or some quorum, the Shchin is there. So Kam Shchinta, you can understand how many divine presences exist. So Karlu Shami called to his servant, Machabe Be'aftaka, and he hit him on the neck. Amalei Amai al Shamsha Bebesa de Kaifer. How is it that there's sunlight in your house? So Amalei said, what do you mean? Why is there sunlight? Shimsha, the sun, Akoli Almanicha. It benefits the whole world at the same time. So he said, okay, Ma Shimsha Dechad Min Elef Alfei Revua Shemshe Dekame Kuchabrichu Nicha Lukuli Alma. Nicha Chuli Alma. So if Shchinasa Hakadosh Baruch Hu Achas Kama. So the sun was just like one servant of Hashem is able to have multiple people benefit from the sunlight at the same time. Then Kavachayim the Shechina Armayahu Minul Rabavoy Elokeichem Gadchan Havi who your God, Rashi says Choicha the Masachik B'Neviyav. He's like joking around in his prophecy. Because he says in Sefer Yecheskel, Shochav al tzidecha smoili. You should go on your left side. Your right side. So he's like joking around, go to your left, go to your right. So asahu talmid armalei my time the shemitasa. So I have a somewhat unrelatable question. Why did Hashem command that every 7 years we're supposed to leave the land fallow? Armalei hash dominuchu milsa. I'm going to tell you something which will answer both of these questions. Oimer Kodesh Baruch Hu Yisrael Zara Sheish, plant for 6 years, V'Shmita Sheva, and then on the 7th year let the land rest. Kadesh Tedu Sha'aret Shlihi, so you'll be able to show that the world and the earth belongs to me. V'Helu Asakain Ella Chatu V'Golu, they didn't do it. They worked the land, and therefore they were punished accordingly. Says Rashi, Kadesh Shitedu V'Lo Yorm Levavchem, that they should not raise their hearts in pride, B'Shvach Artzachem V'Tishchu Oil Malchusay, to forget about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Min Hagosh Oilam, the way of the world is Melech Basav Adam. When it comes to a regular king, Shesarcha, that you rebelled against him, Alav Medina. I love Medina. Im achsarihu harigas kulon. If he's a cruel guy, he's going to kill everyone. Im rachman if he shows some compassion, harich chatzim will kill half. Im rachman mali rachman, if he's full of compassion, then hu meitzar hagadoyim shebehen. He's only going to punish the bigger ones. Be asurin with pain and anguish. Avkadosh Baruch Hu meitzar as Yecheskel. So the two, Hashem showed great levels of compassion. Even though the Klal Yisrael were wrong in not observing Shemitah and the like, so therefore Hashem punished him. Knei Mark of Anoisei Hemshel Yisrael. Armayahu Mino Rabavoy Elokechem Kohenhu. Your God is a Kohen. Dichsev Vikhu Li Truma. So why say Li? It's referring to God. So Ki Kavla Moshe B'Mai Tovel. So when Moshe was buried by Hashem, which means God became Tameh, how did he immerse himself? Did he go into a mikveh? Mi madad b'shalom. Who was able to measure even his fist in water? Basically, God's too big to be able to go in to be toivel in water. So Malay said, no, but not a toivel. Hashem immersed himself in fire. Hashem b'eish yavoy. Can you actually go to the mikvah of fire? That's actually the ideal way of going to a mikvah, in jumping into a fire. Any time if you can't go into fire, okay, you go into the water. Really, ideally, you should go to a fire mikvah, but because you can't, because you get burned alive. So we say, okay, go into the water. But Hashem can go into a mikvah a fire. Obviously, that's not what the pasuk means. The pasuk is talking about kashrus. If something became contact with fire, so you need something with like libun to be able to kasher it. Something which was not in contact with fire, but like got hot, then hagol is sufficient. Okay. Amar le'ahu mino rav avina. The pasuk says, Who's like the Klal Yisrael? They're the greatest. So my Revusayu, what is that coming to add? Atanami or Visu Bahadon. Everyone's included in there. They say Kol Hagoyim, all the nations, including Israel. Ke'ain Negdoi. So why are you making this great praise about yourself? Doesn't seem such a big deal. So Amrulay, so he said, Medidchu, even from you, from your own Nevi'im came out the truth, which is Bilam, who was a Nachri, and he testified that there's Shein Anu Ba'isa Klal, that we're not in that category. Asidol and Dechsiv, it says, we continue the Lamed Testament base, Uvagoyim lo yischashav, that the Jews are not going to be included in the calculation with them. Rabbi Lezer Rami, Ksiv Taiv Hashem HaKoil. It says Hashem is good to everyone. Ksiv Taiv Hashem L'Kavoiv. Hashem is good to only those who hope. So how do we answer? So Mashal Adam, Shish L'Pardes, you have an orchard. Kashu Mashke has Kulo. When you want to water, you just water the whole field. It's easier. It says Rashi, Enu Moina Hamayim, you don't count how much water you have. Leil Chatoivim L'Royim, you don't do it. Just pour you water the whole area. It's only one trouble, so it's much easier. However, when you hoe, only the best. Says Rashi, each part is different trouble. Could be referring to plowing. Kacha Kodesh Baruch Hu Zon Toivim V'royim. Hashem will sustain good and bad. Hakol b'dibur echad. Mamolius kolam kulo. Toivim shahakol shalo. Avo kishabal hagin menapranios. When he wishes to save a person from troubles and protect them, will shalom sachar, to pay them with reward. Enu elokav. But that's only for those that help, who have hope toward him. Okay, let's see a couple questions. Question TA 18. So we saw, because it says V'yichali Truma, and Ma Shoyel es Rabbi Avo Ma Heshavlo. So he said, so if Moshe was, Hashem became Tameh by bearing Moshe, and he was a Kayan, so how did he table himself? So he said he was table in fire. Question 8. Ksiv Toiv Hashem HaKoyev. Ksiv Toiv Hashem HaKoyev. Ma tirutza b'Gemara al stir psukim al derech mashal. So mashal Adam, who has a pardes, when you water everything, because it's one tircha. However, when you plow or hoe, you only do the best parts. So too, when it comes to sachar, the reward, Hashem only gives to those individuals that deserve it. Okay, let's keep on going. We have 2 dots. Lafikach kol echad v'echad v'chu. So v'yavar harina b'machana, so that there was this rejoicing among the camp. Says Rashi, Medlok siv rina mashma harina hamayuchadais. Shaisa si the lavoi shekavar huskra v'hechen huskra. Omer Rav Achbar Chanina. But avois rishayim rina, to wiping out the wicked is rejoiceful. But avad Achav ben Amri rina. When it comes to the destroying of Achav, who was wicked, there is rejoicing. 1 second. Michadi kuchabrichu b'mafalten shorashayim. I thought we're not supposed to rejoice, or Hashem shouldn't rejoice when enemies fall. Dechsib b'seis lifnei hachayleitz hacholutz. The Omrim Hoidul Hashem Ki Taiv, Hoidul Hashem Ki Le'olam Chasto. Rav Yonasan Nimalo Number B'Hoida Zu Ki Taiv. Over here it doesn't say Hoidul Hashem Ki Taiv. It just says Hoidul Hashem Ki Le'olam Chasto. Why does it say Ki Taiv? Lavi Shein HaKadosh Baruch Hu Samech B'Falten Shorashayim. Hashem's not happy with the downfall of the Rishayim. And this pasuk, as Rashi says, is regarding Yehoshaphat. When they Kishiyatza Hilachem Ba'amoinim Sheba Olav, when the Amoinim went to go fight against the Yehoshaphat, that's what it's referring to. And of course, we were successful in battle, but weren't happy about their fall. The Omer of Shmuel bar Nachman, Omer of Yonas Amaydichsev, V'loy Karvzel Zeh Kol Laila, that the Mitzrayim didn't come close to them when they were trying to kill us. The angels wanted to sing Shir right there. The Paro is, even though they're enemies, they're my Masi Yodai. We're going to sing Shir now. So that's a question. So the answer is, who eno sos? Maybe he can't be happy, but others can. So some explain also, so how do we sing Oz Yashir? Right? How do we sing Oz Yashir? Because they no longer fell. They had already fallen. It's B'shas, the time in which they are drowning, then you cannot. Afterwards is okay. Okay. So this is by Achav in his death. This pasuk is mentioned regarding Zainis Reichtzu. Amar Rabbi Elazar Lamark Shtei Hazyonais Achashel Michayahu V'Achashel Eliyahu. So this is referring to two people. One was Michayahu and the other one was Eliyahu. The Michayahu ksev Im Shav Tashuv B'Shalom, if you return in peace, V'Dibra Hashem bi. Be'Eliyahu ksev B'Makam Asher Lakaku HaKlabim, the place where the dogs lick, Es Dam Navois. Rabba Aimer Zainas Mamish. This is actually referring to Zainas. Mamish Zainas, Znus. Achav Ish Mitzainin Haya. He was like a cold man. Says Rashi, Lo Haya Oyev Tashmish. He didn't really care for Tashmish. Yas Lo Izevel Shteit Suri Zainas. So his wife Jezebel made this these like a demus of Zainas b'merchavtai on his chariot. So they had like inappropriate pictures, if you will. Kadesh Yirais, and he should look at them. V'yischamim, and he should get heaten up. Says Rashi lahashlim. Okay, fine. So that was the purpose. V'yischamim. V'ish mashach bekeshes latumoi v'yake. So a person grabbed his bow and he killed Achav. Actually, it was a surprise that he killed him. He didn't intend to kill him. Rabbi Omer l'tamam, to complete him. Shtei chezyonos, achashel Michayahu v'achashel Yahu. The two visions, the two seers, Michayahu and Eliyahu. Okay. Simin kari v'zacha ba'adam. Fine. Siv, the pasuk says, "Vayikra Achav el Avadiyahu," that Achav called to Avadiyahu, Asher al Habayis, which was in his house. Vavadya hayori Hashem, Moed, he feared God. So my karma crow is pasuk. So Rabbi Yitzchak, Amrulei, B'Yaakov said, when it comes to Yaakov Avinu, Lavan said, the Chashti. V'yivarcheni Hashem miglalech. I was blessed by you. That's with regard to Yaakov and Lavan. But Yosef said, V'yivarch Hashem es beis hamitzri b'glal Yosef. Yosef was blessed the house of Potiphar. Beisa dehu gavra. However, this particular house, referring to himself, to Achav, lo havi mivarich. It hasn't been blessed by Avadia. So Shema lo yori lo kimata. Maybe the reason is because you don't fear God, and that's the reason why this is why nothing is happening over here. So Yatzabaskoy of the Omer of Elvadia Yoris Hashem Oid. No, he actually is a great person. So Avol Beso Shel Achav Enu Mezuman L'Racha. Just your house is the Mezuman L'Racha. That's so it's your fault. So Omer Rav Abba Godel Shenemer B'Avadyahu Yosem Shenemer B'Avraham. It's greater what was said by Ovadia than by Avraham Avinu. The Ilba Avraham lo ksiv ma'oid. Ovadia ksiv ma'oid. It says that he feared him very much. Amar Rav Yitzchak mimnei ma zachu Ovadiyahu nevius. Why did he deserve prophecy? Says Rashi, Shahari Ger Hoya. He was a convert. Ve'ein hashchina shara ela al hamyuchasim shebi Yisrael. Because it said, "V'yoysecha Elokim v'zarcha charecha." So Avadia, who was a ger, should not have been shaykh to Nevi'us. The answer is because Shachbia man Nevi'im b'mara, because he hid 100 prophets in a cave and protected them. And since he did that from them being harmed, so he was zeichet to Nevuah. Shnemar v'hi b'hachris Izevel es Nevi Hashem. So Jezebel was killing the prophets. V'yikach Ovediyahu man Nevi'im. So he took 100 prophets. V'yachviyim, and he hid them. Chamishim ish b'mara, 50 people in a cave, etc. So ma'ishna chamishim ish. Why is it in 50 and 50? Why did he not put them all in the same cave? Why 2 caves? Amar Belezer Yaakov Lamad. He learned out from Yaakov. Shenemar v'hayamachan anishul afleita. That when Esau was coming, he divided his camp into 2 parts, as though to say, if one gets killed, at least the other one will survive. So therefore, I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. Rabbi Avoyim Lafish Ein Myra Mecheskes Yosem Chamishim. Just a partial reason, the caves weren't that big. He couldn't hold more than 50 people. So that's the reason why. Chazon of Yahu, the vision of Ovadia, Koimer Hashem Elokim Le'edom V'Goimer. Ma'ishna Ovadia Le'edoim. So what exactly is this allusion to Edom? Says Rashi, Vonis Nava Nevuah. It did not prophesy a prophecy afterwards. Loma Nivchar Lo Lazu Mishar Hanavim. Why did he merit more than any of the other prophets? Amar Rabbi Yitzchak Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu Yovo Vidyahu let Elvadyahu come. Hadar ben Shnei Rishayim, who lived among 2 wicked people, Achav and Izevel. Vo lo b'maseihem, he didn't learn from them. V'yinavi al Esav Harasha shedar ben Shnei Tzadikim vo lo b'maseihem. And that's why it says Edom, which is from Esav, who he himself lived among 2 tzaddikim, his parents, Yitzchak and Rivka, tzaddikim. So Amar Ephraim, Maksha Talmidu Shel Rabbi Meir Mishum Rabbi Meir. So they had a position regarding this, again, story of Ovadia. Ovadia Geradoimi Hoya. Actually, it just means that he was a convert and he came from there. That's why people say Mina ube Abba Nazel be Narga. That him from the forest itself use the handle to cut. So basically just saying that that's where he came from. Says Rashi, Al b'yar ma'atzmo shel yar. The father came from the same place, and he was cutting with this axe. The Ixabuas Hayar, he was cutting with this in this forest. So the truth is that, okay, we're demonstrating where he came from. V'yachas Moyev v'im dadam b'chevel. So they smote Moab, they measured with a rope. Hashachav oisam arza, those who laid down with them by the ground. Amr Rav Yochanan Mishum Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai Hanari Inshi. That's what people say. Mino Beisav Lezel Ben Darga. Okay. Kiyosar Rav Dimi Omer Yorech Mitocha Misarachas. That the thigh from within it rots. V'yikachas Benoya Bechor Asher Yimlach Tachtov. And V'yikachas Benoya Bechor, he took the oldest son. V'yalehu Oila Chayman, he brought an oila by the wall. Rabbi Shmuel Chado Eimer L'Shem Shemayim Chado Eimer L'Shem Avodah Zarah. So Machlokas, when it was it done for the sake of heaven, or was Avodah Zarah? Bishlam Al Eimer L'Shem Shemayim Chado L'Sevihi Ketzev Gadol Al Yisrael, that there was this great anger upon Yisrael. Oman Eimer L'Shem Avodah Zarah Ma'vihi Ketzev. What exactly is this anger? So let's see. So, Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, Rabbi Ksiv, Ukimishpota Hagoyim Asher Sivo Seichem Lo Asisem. Don't do like these people's laws. You do. So it's like this. The one who are Masukin, it says Rashi, going Meyishai Melech Moav Shehikru B'nei Vodazara. There was mocker of his child for idol worship. Kacha Yisrael Oisa, that's what they used to do. V'Oisa Shah Nisko Hem Ois Avoin Sharigilim Gam Heim Boy. Kishemekalkalin Shivahen Asisem. V'Yisu Me'elu V'Yeshuva Aretz Omer Av Chanina Bar Papa V'Oisa Shah Yod Rishaehen Shal Yisrael L'Madrega HaTachtoina. They went down to the lowest of levels. Vandar Yafam Ad Ma'oid, she was very beautiful. Amar Chanina Bar Papa Dayin Lo Hagia Chatzi Yoifi Shel Sarah, but she still did not reach the beauty of Sarah. D'chsev Ad Ma'oid V'lo Ma'oid B'chlal. So it's Ad Ma'oid, but it's Ad V'lo Ad B'chlal. Says Rashi, in Ki Yafa Hi Ma'oid V'Haikra D'Avishag Nakat. So, and again, it's just as a drasha, as a side, but again, even though she was very beautiful, she did not come close to the beauty of Sarah. Question 9. Madua surach tam l'neviyaso shel Ovadia yosem yishar neviim. So he said because he was a ger, and the Shechin is not shira except anyone who's meyuchas b'Yisrael, but because he hid and saved 100 neviim, so therefore he was Zoicha to Nevius. Question TB 19. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak and Mazach Ken Nemneshu Hu Ger V'Derech Klal Hager Lo Mukabel Nevius Aval Hu Zoicha Nevius Nemneshu Hu Matzil Harbi Neviim B'Shtei Ma'orois Adkan Hadran Olach Echad Medini Momnus Hanolach Echad Dini Momnus Hanolach Echad Dini Mominus. We're going to continue with the 5th parak, Daf Mem. We're going to learn about the different chakiros and all the questions that we're going to be asking, which is going to be connected to Edom Zayman. We'll see that in tomorrow's Daf. Adkan.